Hey, you guys. It's MJ from All to Love. How are you? This is a fairly new monthly service that I'm providing as far as intuitive readings, just giving us a bit of a heads up. Um, I'm doing this little disclaimer at the beginning of all of these videos. I'm not an astrologer and I'm not a tarot reader. This is just purely intuitive insight around their collective energies. And because I do like some of these videos, I figured it might be nice for this community to have a little bit more specific insight around their signs, because a lot of us, obviously, we resonate with different aspects of the collective energy, which has to do a lot with astrology and how we interpret and feedback off of the world around us. And I have fire sun, so I'm an Aries sun, and I very much throughout my life resonate with the foolishness of the Aries nature and the impulsiveness, but also the leadership and the great depth and sensitivity as well. And of course, there really is no way to like totally accurately like pigeonhole somebody, and yet a lot of the reason why I think some of us get into astrology and look into our horoscopes and natal charts is because they do offer great insight into our life path and the different turning points in our lives, and and also the points at which we're going to have to make some major life decisions. And even things like in my natal chart, it actually highlights and says in one of these natal charts, like the early part of your life, i.e. up pretty much up until your 30s, it's just going to be brutal. Basically, you're just going to be a really serious kid and life's going to be really hard for you, and there's going to be a bunch of suffering and blah blah blah. And then by the time you get to your early to mid 30s, things are going to start to get lighter. Things are going to start to lighten up. And for me and for a lot of the light worker community, the what you resonate with is the fact that we've been in like the shadows. It's like we've been living in the shadows of humanity, of brothers and sisters. Like it's like that expression in academic theory about like the oppressed always knows their oppressor better than they know themselves. So what we're witnessing now in the collective is the rising of this divine feminine energy within us, but massively around the oppressed. And so, and this is where I'm finding this weird discerning phase is um like I know my oppressor better than they know themselves, and yet this weird phase we're still in is that they're still trying to oppress me though, and or like not addressing. And that's something as somebody who kind of moves things forward, and that's the cardinal signs, so the Capricorn and the Cancer and um the Aries is a cardinal sign. And then what's the Earth? Oh, that's the Capricorn. What's another one that I'm missing? There's the air sign, and I wouldn't even know. You guys might know better. So one of the air signs is the cardinal. Sorry, guys. I need to check. Ah, yeah, baby. Libra. Wowzers. See, I have Mercury in Libra, so there's a lot around this energy that we're in here now, and could be specifically for some of the fire signs as justice. And that actually makes a lot of sense with the Uranus shifting into Taurus, because it's been in Aries, which means a lot of the Aries in the collective have basically been through like the worst, as far as like the deepest, darkest unconscious patterns that we've been carrying have been outworked, shown to us, and ideally healed, and or we're still healing the effects of this powerful transit across our own life path, right? And so we're coming out of this really deep dark healing of like, oh my god, like my whole world has changed, like everything has been removed and or transformed to some degree, and there's almost a bit of shock and kind of like instability, but it's not anchored instability. So it's not like you're actually going crazy, but you're having like this weird residue feedback of the craziness, right? And the nice thing again, and this was a little bit similar to the earth energy stuff, is that even though we might still be feeling the depths of healing, feeling the depths of transformation, getting these waves of insecurity or what have you, that we're on the tail end of all this stuff. There's a fire energy here now where it's like go forward blazing, and that has, I think, a lot to do with like and the charge that the fire signs contain within the other fire signs. So fire is the transformation, is the ultimate transformer, it's the ultimate transformational energy, it's the phoenix, burning to the ground, basically. And that in our world with Notre Dame, with these fires being started, with these sort of increasingly volatile and violent and out of control wars, now it's like the fires are just like lighting up everywhere and just destroying the old constructs. They're ripping apart our old world, right? Whether we like it or not. And the fire is ultimately burning up our own perspective of limitation too. So there's an alchemical process happening within the fire energy here. And again, we have to totally see it in harmony that every sign and every being ultimately has its purpose and function in the full outworking. And one thing that's really nice, especially because we as the fire signs can be, we're known often for having the temper, Aries in particular. Um, but fire signs, probably a little bit more than the other signs, can have a tendency to go into ego, can have a tendency to be a kind of like big-headed, you could say, or covertly manipulative as well. So I'm not like, I can only say that as a fire sign as well, right? And yet part of the Uranus and Taurus, or Uranus and Aries transit, has been working those deeper shittinesses out, and then allowing us to more compassionately embody the fire of compassion, right? And so the fire signs are really looking at the ego projections, really looking at the way that we use and manipulate one another, and then ultimately like breaking free from that. Right? So breaking free from having to fix and power over, breaking free from using other people, breaking free of denying, these different aspects we're all basically shining light on, looking at, and then breaking free from. And there's a real dance happening in the feminine and the masculine. So we're having this next level powerful integration process coming into balance, where again we're really, really shedding and having to step into our unity power when it comes to shedding those old constructs, and giving power and appreciation and divinity and worship and devotion where it is required. That too often we want to play the cool guy, or we want our ego to get all blah, 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 but we can't even give credit where credit is due. We can't even acknowledge someone for the giftedness and for the love that they are. We just automatically judge somebody for their physical circumstances and then assume we know what they're going through, assume we know what their life path is. And again, we mustn't do this. And this is something where I'm coming from, is that I am having this increasing wake up call of like, you, I, and the collective, we just automatically assume like we're all the same, and we're not at all. Not at all. We're all completely unique. And the only way to get to know one another better is to get to know our own self, which is including our emotions and all this shit that the collective doesn't want to deal with. And yet, I would actually dare say that some of the fire signs are really leading the way here in their community, in their family, um, and because in constellations, i.e., in group consciousness and configuration, we need a balance of all of these different elements, right? And so making sure that there's enough fire and there's enough heat in our communities and in our lives, it sort of, it helps to embody in us the transformational path, this manifestation path. It's that the fire in us is really what helps to break it down. And so the fire in our community, the fire in our own charts can really be lighting up, but again, not in some violent, scary, and explosive way. Although, yes, it might come out in a bit of temper or a bit of reactivity. The truth of all these are outworking, again, these very deep, dark, divisive energetic patterns in us. So well done, everybody, for just staying in your groove thing. And and looking forward to speaking to you soon. Don't forget to subscribe and share. And I appreciate all of your guys' donations for this channel. And also for your purchases. This is the book that I published a few years ago, which is helping people basically master their emotions. So enjoy, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed that it was insightful and helpful to you. And if not, you just move right along. I love you guys. Have an awesome day. Peace out.